are so excited for another episode of ZoeTV. And we thought there is no better way to start this show than with our new segment we're so excited about, which is our new resident spotlight.
I love it.
We got so many new residents coming onto campus, and we thought, you know what? They need to have a platform to tell everybody about them.
To meet everybody.
And then when you're walking around, you're like, there's Doc Rock. I heard about you, and we have something in common. I need to talk to this guy, this girl, whatever. So we've got a list of people coming down the pipe that are moving on, and I've already talked to them. They're in the queue.
I already saw there's a line.
Yes, there's a line
outside waiting.
Yes,
waiting to get in.
This is my guy.
See,
now he's a marketing guy. Mm-hmm. He understands the pizzazz needed to sell something.
Mm-hmm. That I don't? Is that what you're saying?
No, you do. You're just so authentic, and sometimes you forget the sizzle. Barry Lyons, everybody, coming live.
Good afternoon. Happy to meet everybody here.
Oh, Barry. So,
all right.
There he is.
There's your best friends right
tell
there.
Us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of what brought you to Glencroft. But tell everybody your backstory.
Okay, the short version, and people who know me know there is no short version, but the shortest version is born and bred in Buffalo, New York, went to college in Cleveland, Ohio. My dad, God bless, may he rest in peace, was in the music business going back to the 1950s. He got to hang out with people ranging from Elvis Presley to Andy Williams to Robert Goulet and the Everly Brothers and people like that. And he got me started when he took me and my older brother to a Johnny Cash concert in Buffalo.
We love Johnny Cash.
We love Johnny
Cash. I was about maybe 8 years old at the time, and I got to meet Johnny Cash.
What an experience.
How cool does it get?
Yeah.
Not cooler than that, yeah.
Not much more than that.
So the rest of your life was downhill from there.
And basically, the rest of my life was, what are you going to do when you grow up, Barry? And I would tell my mom when I hit 65, I'm 69 now, but when I hit 65 and my mother asked me if I figured out yet what I'm going to do when I grow up, I said, I'll let you know when I do.
There you go.
So cool.
I love it.
So you were in the music industry on the marketing side, right? Like
I did marketing and promotion. I started by managing one of my dad's record stores back in Buffalo and quickly got moved over to the company that his company was a part of. Had started a small independent label, and I quickly wound up getting involved with that. Worked with some people that had careers, let's say, in the early 60s when I was going to college and working full-time. And I got to work with a great San Francisco band, It's a Beautiful Day, great R&B act named Johnny Guitar Watson. He'd get on stage and it would be, "Come here, guitar!"
Wow.
And I've stayed in the business ever since. I worked for big labels like Elektra Records and Island Records and Polydor Records from England. I've worked for smaller independent labels, IRS Records, back in the 90s. And when I left my last label, which was in the year 2000, I became an independent, working for myself and selling my services to mostly independent artists, labels. On the independent side, I've worked with Ozzy Osbourne. I've worked with Jefferson Airplane briefly. I've worked with Warren Zevon. May he rest in peace.
Mm-hmm. You've seen it all.
I have seen it all. Probably one of the great times was I spent 3 years doing independent work with Willie Nelson.
Oh.
Well, and you were nice enough to give us some photos.
Yes.
And I think it gives good context because you have such a great backstory. And in a couple of the photos involved one, Willie Nelson holding your kid, right? Like your daughter.
My baby
4
daughter.
months old or something.
I started working for Willie pretty early in the year 2000. He had just put out a fantastic album called Teatro, which was very different for Willie. He made it with, he worked on that album with The Edge from U2, with Emmylou Harris, with Bono on 2 songs.
Oh, my.
And he also brought in a 3-person Cuban rhythm section to play. So it's
Completely
nothing
different.
like any
Yeah.
Willie Nelson record that you ever heard. One of the coolest things I ever did was I managed to get at a music convention later in the year 2000. We put that band together to play in Boulder, Colorado, completely unknown to all the radio people that were there. They thought they were going to see, Willie Nelson, he's going to do On the Road Again.
Yeah,
and
all his classic hits.
he did none of those songs. But when he introduced the band, and here's all these radio guys, and they're hearing, over there on guitar, we've got The Edge. On background vocals,
just a collaboration of everything.
Bono and Emmylou Harris.
Unbelievable. Heads exploded.
Berserk.
Yeah,
Yes.
I bet they did.
People went absolutely berserk, and it was amazing. It never happened again.
Yeah.
The only
Unreal.
time he's very loyal to the people
Yeah, what they want to
that
hear.
have been with him.
Right.
Yeah.
And to an audience that usually is expecting to hear, On the Road Again and those songs. And to see the looks on that audience's faces
Unbelievable.
was just so unbelievable.
Well, what I think's cool when we started talking is the industry of music as a whole, you kind of dabbled in so many areas. I mean, you gave us a picture we're going to look at in a sec of you with the rock band Metallica. And our residents might not know Metallica, but Metallica's a big deal. And
I bet they do. I bet
to
some of
look at
them
this
know.
photo of these guys holding you up, I mean, that is, who has that? That
Yeah.
is such a
That-
cool
that-
deal.
We know who
that
has
was
that.
before, not long before, but that picture was a few months prior to when Cliff Burton was killed in the bus accident over
Okay.
in Sweden.
Okay.
But
Well-
I also got to work with Ringo Starr on some of his solo career. Hanging in my apartment over here in Glencroft, I have an autographed drum head that Ringo signed for me.
Oh, that's
amazing.
fabulous. That's
That's
so
amazing.
amazing.
Well, I know we've talked about, because I just pick your brain, who's the funnest worker, who's the nicest. So on the way over to the golf course, because we'll get into what you're doing with here in Parkinson's, I'm like, who's the funnest guy, like the nicest guy? And you said, I mean, you didn't even hesitate. It was Beach Boys, right? Like,
Carl Wilson from the Beach Boys. Willie would be right up there. The guy's got a heart of gold. Ringo was such a class act, and everybody used to know Ringo as, he's the funny one in the Beatles. He's the one that could tell a joke. Whereas John and Paul and George took the band very seriously. Great story about Ringo. I took him to KLOS radio one time in, I think, 2003. And he was doing promotional stuff that you would think a Beatle doesn't need to go do, but he was still open to doing it. And completely unexpected, KLOS, they had big morning radio show at the time, Mark and Brian, or as they would say in the radio, the Mark and Brian Show. And we walked in, and they had booked as prior guests, unbeknown to Ringo or anybody, they had the Smothers Brothers, who had Ringo and the Beatles as guests on his TV show a number of times, and they, particularly Ringo and the two Smothers Brothers, had bonded like this.
Right.
And
That's unbelievable.
Ringo just marches down the hallway. I'm trying to introduce him to the program director and the show's producer, and Ringo just was the studio mate, and he marches into the studio, and him and the Smothers Brothers, unbelievable, they start hugging and just having the time of their lives. For the next 20 minutes, the morning guys, they left. There was nothing.
Nothing to say.
They couldn't get a word in edgewise.
Yeah. I love those stories.
And that's why I don't have a picture of me with Ringo, which I would have loved to have had, but I got so busy taking pictures of Ringo and the Smothers Brothers and the radio people, and the program director and all that, and then it was time to go.
Well, I tell you, when we started this segment, and Barry, he had just moved in, and we're going to get into why in a sec, but it was like, this has got to be our first.
Yes.
I mean, the stories that he's telling me is like,
well, we have to have you back because we want to hear more.
Yeah, we want to hear more. And I would recommend anybody out there invite this man to lunch.
Yes.
Because you're going to get some good stories. You're going to get entertained. I can tell you that already. In a little bit of time I've got to spend with him.
Well, I've already met all the people who run the restaurants.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Here to a point where I don't refer to it as Henry's or Henri's. He's just Hank.
Oh, you guys are close.
You're in the comfort zone.
Well, now he's met everybody else. Now you're friends with everybody out there.
All right, so we're going to go with the little bit of time we have left into what brought you to Glencroft. What made you make this transition in life to live with us?
When I was living in Los Angeles, at the end of the 20th, of the second decade of the 2000s, it was not a good time. My wife came down with breast cancer and then leukemia. She passed away. I had a heart attack, and it was just, and then my daughter, I have only one, she was preparing for her first year of college, little knowing that her first year of college would get interrupted and ruined by a pandemic and a quarantine and all that. We'll just call it stuff.
Yeah. Good word. Okay.
To be polite. And it was simply time to go elsewhere.
Right.
And because I had also, after my heart attack, I had pneumonia 4 different times in a 1-year span. And I was not moving back to Chicago or Buffalo or New York City, all much too cold. And as it happens, I had been in the Phoenix area a number of times, and I had a cousin who lived in Scottsdale, and she said, "Come here. It's much warmer."
much warmer.
Little did I realize quite how much could really be.
Yeah, right. Okay.
But it's okay. Having grown up in Buffalo and seen snow to the top of people's houses,
the heat's doable.
I'll put up with the heat.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so you got to Scottsdale, and then how long were you there before you came over here?
We were in Scottsdale for about 10 months.
Okay.
And then had to move someplace.
Yep.
And on very short notice, too.
Okay.
I got a tip to come and somebody says to me, "Go look up a place called Glencroft. You might like it." One of the things I had hated in Scottsdale, I was living in a condo association setup. 9 buildings, each 8 stories tall. Every place in it looked the same. So it was easy to spot if I was looking to tell someone, just look for the place when you're driving down Camelback Road. If you see something that looks like Stalag 13 from the old Hogan's Heroes, that's where I'm living.
My gosh.
It was horrible.
So you got the tip about Glencroft.
I got the tip about Glencroft. I came up here literally the next day.
Yep.
Fell in love with the place because everybody spoke. Nobody in my 10.5 months in Scottsdale, nobody said a word.
Oh, we're better on the west side. Just saying.
I don't know what it is, but, before I even knew I was going to wind up here, people were walking up to me and, "Oh, you're a Chicago Cubs fan.
Yeah, right.
Oh, did you ever see the White Sox?" And yeah.
Outgoing.
And these were people I hadn't even met.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know where I was going to go.
Now, part of the Glencroft connection came, you had told me that from some Jewish connections that you had developed Parkinson's in the last couple years, and these guys caught wind of what we were doing over here and said, that program might be a great...
The original tip came to me from a woman who worked at a social agency called Jewish Family Services.
Yes.
And I also had gotten to know through some friends back in Los Angeles a few guys who are rabbis at the Chabad temples that are up here.
Yeah.
That were more in Scottsdale, but and I got some recommendations from them, and I had to wait an extra day for my daughter to come back from school because I had sworn to her, and when I swear to people that I will make something happen, you can bet your bottom end dollar,
dollar, there you go.
Bottom dollar, it will happen.
Yeah.
But I had told my daughter that wherever I moved, there was going to be a place for her.
Yes.
When I'm gone, but till then, she has a place that she can call home as long as she wants.
That's cool. Well, we're lucky to have you. You've been, from day one moving in, you've jumped right in the Parkinson's program with us. We've been in the pool. We've been to the golf course.
We have been in the pool. We have been to the golf course. I didn't know I had Parkinson's until I wound up in an emergency room in Scottsdale, and then I finally got an explanation for things that had been happening to me for nearly a year.
Yeah.
And I will tell people the best advice I can give anybody about Parkinson's, it's all in your head. Listen to your brain, tell yourself that you can beat it. I wake up every morning and tell myself, I look at Ringo's drum head and I remind myself that I have another day and another chance to beat Parkinson's like a damn bass drum.
There you go. There you go. Well,
we're
lucky to have you. We got a team around you. We're going to walk with you every step of the way and
ask questions.
And we love the energy you bring to this campus.
Yes.
It's going to be fun to watch your journey here.
I'm loving being here.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate your time. We're having you back.
Yes.
We blew through our time with you. It was worth it because these stories are hard to stop. I just want to keep hearing them.
They're amazing.
I will have to bring you guys. For one of the things I'm known for in the business, I got into putting together Christmas music compilations. The only Jew who does Christmas compilations.
Love it.
And I started off doing cassettes. I still have some, so I will.
All right,
bring a couple for you and you.
That's your bottom dollar.
Because we're your best friends now.
We're out of here. It was great talking with you, man.
It was so fun.
It was awesome.
Thank you.
It's been entirely my pleasure.
Very cool.
Thank you.
What an episode. What a segment. I mean, this is what it's all about.
I agree with you. And I'm super excited that we have 71 new residents. And I mean, it's growing every day.
I feel it because when I walk around, I'm recognizing people to normal, and then I'm like, who are these three, these four?
Yeah.
And the phones in the Performance Center are going bananas. And we have 3 of those, actually now 4, for the Parkinson's program. They're moving in because of it.
Yeah.
Like Barry. I mean, it's awesome.
You know, we did a tour today of some funders, and they were overwhelmed and amazed by all that we do.
Yeah, I think that they see a lot of other campuses and everybody's so COVID, and we're like, oh yeah, we're off and running. And they're like, wait,
and not only that, but what we have to offer our residents, honestly, is a lot of cool things.
Speaking of, we're going to get to this magic hat. We talk about the magic box a lot. We're going to have Randy Lujan on next week, and we're going to talk a little bit about Beta 1 and our case studies and how things are going. But you got big news. Before I get into the magic hat and pull new names for Beta 2, big news from Kay Baker.
Yeah.
Or is it Kay something else?
No, it's still Kay Baker, but yes.
Show the bling.
Oh, yeah.
Show the bling.
Okay, there it is. A yellow diamond. I have wanted a yellow diamond.
Married.
Forever. Married.
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
And nobody knew.
Well, because we just took our kids, and which totaled 9, and us 2 old people, and 11 of us got married on the beach.
In Hawaii.
In Hawaii.
And nobody back here knew.
And we didn't tell
people. And you kept this a secret this whole time.
I did.
I was the first to know when you got back, right?
Yeah, and you didn't even ask me.
I didn't ask you. What, did you get married? What was I supposed to ask?
You didn't even ask me what was new. I had to say,
oh yeah, I did.
What's new? And you told me what was new. And then I said, well, do you want to know what's new with me? And you said, oh yeah, okay, what?
I got married.
I got married. And you went, what?
It was crazy. Well, congratulations. You're going to get a lot of love out there. And maybe some good pumpkin cookies from June Wayne.
Oh, yes.
They're unbelievable.
I saw them in your office. And, you know, in case you're wondering, June, no, he did not offer me one.
I gave one to Michelle.
Well, that's not me.
Well, congratulations. June, get her a cookie for her wedding gift. All right, so Magic Hat.
Magic Hat.
Dedicated to the Magic Box. We are almost on the home stretch. This is the last week with Beta 1.
Okay.
And the results are off the charts. And I feel like we talk about the Magic Box a lot, but it is something that residents are starting to understand. We have 60 people on the waiting list. We did the live demo the week you were getting married.
Yep.
And it is one of these things we're trying to get to everybody. We're in Beta 2, starting with these names, and the goal is funneling new people in every week. I mean, we're starting to get a rhythm with the machine, and there's only one machine.
Yeah.
And there's only a few of us certified, so we can only do so many, but be patient out there.
It will be worth the wait, because I talked to Michelle at the salsa tasting, and you practiced on her, and she hadn't felt her ankle.
I know.
In 10 years,
She's
and
the poster
she's
child.
walking now. I mean, it's incredible.
She's running. She said a story last week. She almost got hit by a shopping cart in Walmart. Almost got taken out.
All
and she
in this magic hat, right? We're not pulling a rabbit out, right?
Not pulling a rabbit out.
Okay.
We're pulling names out. So,
okay, ready?
So, to preface, if your name gets called, we will call you, or you can call us. But there's an order to the events. We got a start date. We'll get you a schedule, but these will be the next 5 participating in the magic box. So, drum roll, please. Okay, pull in and grab one out. This is exciting. I like this.
Okay.
Joanne Crawford.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Come on down.
Joanne Crawford. Okay, go again.
Tom Warren.
Tom Warren, big part of the golf team. Okay,
Woo!
everybody, when you enter in your call, your name goes in the hat, just so you know. We've got a lot of names in here. Wow, Gil Zeke. I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. Gil Zeke. We will be calling, or if you're excited, call us.
Okay.
2 to go, right? Wow,
okay.
Laszlo Horvath.
Ooh, good.
Horvath? Laszlo. All right, buddy. Last but not least,
Lori Farley.
Oh, Lori Farley.
Oh,
Very
these are
cool.
good names. You guys are the lucky ones. So.
I mean, it is one of those things. It's the only way to do this fairly. Is I can't base it off when you called. I can't base it on your pain's worse than his pain. It's everybody's name in a hat, and we go. It is. I mean, it is what it is.
Magic, and so
it kind of. And Ross got me this hat within about 30 seconds of asking.
That's magic.
So that is magic. All right, we're way over time. Lovely AV team is going to push us past our 30-minute mark. But how do you cut off the man that's played with?
Oh my goodness.
Freddie Mercury and Bono and everybody else. So find that guy at Henry's. Buy him a coffee and listen to those stories.
I love the stories.
We got a new resident of inspiration next week.
Yes.
We've got a new resident spotlight next week. We're going to get Randy somehow on here. This show is banging.
A 2-hour show.
We need a 2-hour show.
Okay.
We're going to talk to Gabe. All right. See you on the flip.